Okay, we're back with another Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So today will be the end of our, of the first game. Um, well, there are two more games in it. Okay, there's Justice for All and Trials and Tribulation. I don't want to play them, but it gets really tiring. Maybe like when there's like end of the year or something, or when I'm when I have like long vacation, maybe like during that time I'll play it. Okay, it really tires me out because you have to think a lot. Okay, and the game is great, but sometimes I do feel like it's a bit draggy, but that's real. Well, it shows that they given time to about it. Okay, so with that said, let's get back to the story. Okay, so yesterday what happened is that we went and investigate. Okay, we went and investigate. So all clues lead to Damon Gant. Okay, that he's somehow behind all of this. Okay, and Lana is basically acting like a pawn for Damon Gant. Okay, and he might be the real killer. Okay, because even though that we didn't show here. Okay, when Joe Dark killed Neil Marshall. Okay, is that Joe Dark was at the bottom of it. Okay, at the bottom, and then like on top of him is Neil Marshall, and the knife was sticking out from the back. So it doesn't make sense. How can he stab Neil Marshall if he's at the bottom of the body pile? He got piled on. So I got a feeling that the person who killed him is, of course, without a doubt, it's somebody else, but Damon Gant. Okay, yeah. Now let's see whether our theory is correct, and I believe today is gonna take quite a long time to go through. Okay, well, let's go. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It's almost as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edward, you look like you've seen a ghost. Knowing you already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7th number ID card is. Yell, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. The only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still a room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say that much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she found guilty, you lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court. Right. You know, I thought that Edward was finally gonna become like a defense attorney again, because you know after we helped him out in the last case with the DL6, okay, and he seemed like he's rethinking his career choice, okay. But I hope that in the second game he does think about that. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gan is on, what Chief Gan has on her, it's now. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. Huh? But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gannett. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, RJ. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough. I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Haha, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. And yeah, which should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like to put an immediate end to this trial. That's not up for you to decide. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, what's she hiding there? Objection! You can't. Your Honor, the defendant claim does not change the defense plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana... Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but this has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like to render your verdict now, if you please. If the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation, her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court find the defendant. Objection! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edward? The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, hmm? No, no, no. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gan. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal. Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Sky. I request the court hears her testimony. Hold it! Mr. Edward, I'm exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to... I don't care what you think, Miss Sky. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one side from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, Chief Gant. Wordy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. That's your aspiration. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killing. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget all about that though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Edward, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. He's counting everything on us. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Press! 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under the Deputy Chief Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever. Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair. I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I always sit at my sister's desk. Sit? At my sister's desk? By my sister's desk, right? And dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work. A man came running in, took me hostage. Hold it! A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then, he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were 2 people present during Dark questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't remember clearly what happened then, but I never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went up. The light? It was just about this time of year. there was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby, so the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right. But just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image on the scene in my mind. Let's see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you speak with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago. Yes. So that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe he has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence that I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right? Yes, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now whenever I close my eyes. That's strange. I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died. Yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken? But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining things. The picture that Emma drew. That reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again. Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted on an image in your mind, can you please describe it to us? The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. That must have been a real shot. Even now, when I close my eyes, I can still see it as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage? When lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside and the two began wrestling each other. I'm pretty sure I was watching them. Emma doesn't have any reason to lie, but Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much as she can. Okay, let's skip to the picture. Present. This is it, right? Ta-da! Present! Objection! Mr. Edgeworth? This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That well may be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident? Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Heard it. Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling in here. Not really. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in the case ever reached you. What? What? Order, order? But Miss Guy, why did you draw your picture on the back of back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. We never met Detective Goodman. I feel like he's a bit of a gumshoe. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor, are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. That's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth? It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on my list. It's that thing. What the? It's the major. That thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. Very well, witness. Give me a second, let me just check this. Wait. This is 2 years ago. How the heck did they have the blue badger? You know, this creepy ass thing. I was hoping that they move, but no matter. I thought they just recently made that thing. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir. Your Honor. What's wrong with him? He seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Okay. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Ooh, what's that? Okay. That's basically, give me a second. Just give me a second. While I arrange the chat. Give me a second while I move the chat up. So that we can see more of the... Wait, it's not this. Give me a second. Is it? No. Just a moment. The chat stream. I'll put it up here. Wait. Move it up. Give me a second. I make the stream the screen bigger so that don't have enough room for that. Give me a second. I should have done this earlier. Wait. Chat stream on top. Okay. Okay. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows that Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay, let's ask every question. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gann and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black? The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. That's awesome. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright. and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Doug had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flash? After that, I must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No. I'm sorry.
Objection!
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? I'm not the bad guy here! Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detective? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. He's not paying my salary! I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something about this picture that's been bothering you? Well... That's strange. She claimed this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. It's in black and white. Okay. Wait. Exactly what I saw. Huh. Okay, this is when. Should I show it again? What about this thing here? Let's ask. Let's hope this is right. This is not it. This is not it. You know, Can I ask about the knife? Is it the knife? Oh wait. Before I screwed up, I think I should save. Okay, let's save. I can ask the knife, and then what's this? Is that a ruler? Or something like that? Wait! It's not sharp, right? I would like you to pay attention to this. Look at that! Look at that! I think this is it! But, okay, let's try and show it. It's not! It is that thing! Okay, maybe we can ask about... We'll bring up this one here, okay? The switch click. Huh? Oh, come on! Like, it's definitely like the knife, or like, it doesn't have to do with this, exactly. Not it. Oh god. Okay, load. Like, I can't like, the game really must, you know, you must show it. Okay, why don't we ask about this, the blue badger? It's not the blue badger! You gotta be kidding me! Like, what the? Oh, I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Edward knife?
Objection!
It's not? You gotta be kidding me! Okay, let's try one more. Wait. This is the exact picture, right? What about this?
Objection!
I don't think so. Ah, shit. Okay, let's reload. We only have one life left. Load. Damn. What is it? Okay, let's see. She claims that this is exactly what was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. Okay, so here... okay. Wait. Stab in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife stab in the back.
Objection!
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps you'll be faster if you simply pointed out the contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Basically, it's at the front.
Take that!
The contradiction of course lies here. Take a look at the knife this man is holding. If you look closely, you can see that the tip is broken. Well, I don't have to look closely to see that, right? But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Objection!
Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? Come on! The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is that the witness memory is mistaken.
Objection!
That's why I asked her so many times if she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Objection!
What is this objection parade? Not so fast, Mr. Edward. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall was chased after him and was killed by Dark. It's my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife beside Joe Dark. Would there have been one? There is another one! If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by simply observational error, Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. This is the real murder weapon. Here. Take that! The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here in this picture. And this is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon! Notice the award prosecutor marshal is holding. That's a broken knife! As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the credits. The knife we witnessed from, the knife the witness saw, was in all likelihood from this award. Order, order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
Objection!
But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would have been reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been prosecutor Neil What? Oh! But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Hold it! Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? In this list? The one with the picture scribbled on the back? I knew it! This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew it? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. At this time, I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added it to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you recall, Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Emma's recollection. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning. That was when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Quite impossible. The chief detective hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Stop, please! Don't pursue this any further. Lana, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor's guy. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems you're finally getting to the core of the matter. Because Lana, tried to intervene. When I saw that man raise his knife... Hold it! When you saw that man, I assume you referred to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office report. So then you... I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He seemed convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know at the time. Then, Dark Guy knocked me down. All I could think was, I gotta help the other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, think? It all happened so fast and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. This guy was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man who about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So, what happened next? Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief detectives who thought of this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I've seen him somewhere before. Now I finally remembered. Oh brother, just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? You mean you didn't actually saw his face? With its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
Objection!
This is pointless. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought he had 3 creepy horns. Okay, this thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when the lightning flashed? Who is it, this blue badger? I just might know. Blue badger hadn't even been ramped up when Emma drew this picture. Yet, she's quite certain she saw the shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense belief that on the fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright? In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that incident? Please show us this mysterious blue badger look-alike. Spiky. unstable jar?
Take that!
Take that! The mysterious blue badger was in fact death! But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of a jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this. Yeah. Hey, 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 take that! This is right.
Objection!
Ah, come on! If Mr. Wright can't match the shape with the witness drew, we cannot accept this claim. We just gotta find the right angle. Come on, Mr. Wright, you can do it. It definitely has to be like this, right? Come on. Yeah. Is this it?
Take that!
Take that! Ah, come on! Dun, 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 dun.
Take that!
Oh, damn it. Did this?
Take that! Objection!
What the hell?
Take that!
This? Oh, come on! I know it's this!
Objection!
Okay, let me double check. Okay. Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright. Jar rotate. Jar angle. Okay. Like this?
Take that!
That's not it.
Objection!
Let me see. Let me see.
Take that!
Take that! That's not it! Okay, give me a second. Okay. I'm taking a look at it. Wait. Is it like this? Wait. You see, I'm looking at the view like. Wait. This?
Take that!
Ah, come on! Is this it? Right?
Take that!
Oh, come on! Pull it up.
Take that!
Oh, come the fuck on, man! What's the correct angle? What's the fucking correct angle? Like this? Eh. Come on! H N H B Come on! Let me see. I need to rotate it to the left. No, this thing here. The stand need to go directly vertically up, you know? Is it like this? Okay, now to the left of it. Let's try this. Ah, come on! This is why.
Take that!
Sorry.
Objection!
Just help me out already. Is it like this?
Take that!
Ah, come the fuck on! It's too specific. I think this is it.
Take that!
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Is it like this?
Take that!
Ah, shit! How many times do you have to do this? This is so infuriating. Is this it? Is this it? Okay, now I'm comparing with it. It has to be super. See, let's see. I think this is it, right? Oops, I think maybe like.
Take that!
Oh, shit! If you can get it right, don't use this system, man.
Take that!
Fuckingly. Well, is this a miracle or what? More like a fucking nightmare. No one can possibly deny this jar resemblance to the blue badger. No. It can't be! Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually dead.
Objection!
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So the badger thing was actually just a job. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well, then. Please tell us, what's different now that we know that the witness saw this jar? Well, if I say the location, then it's already we know it's in that room, so that's not it. We'll know about the murderer because he kept it. Allow me to take this in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on the shelf in the office of Damon Gann. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified to herself. Yes, and it's these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, Chief Gann's office. Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body? From Damon Gann's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know that reason? What that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. But this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now, tell me, who could have sent the jar flying? That would have to be the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, that would mean what would have he hit? Ah! The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would had to have been Neo Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in the room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go on with it. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neo Marshall, she killed her! You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Guy, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? Even so, I don't think she will be charged that heavily, okay? Because it's all an accident, okay? Especially in this dire circumstance. I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neo Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If you don't have evidence, then I have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. You certainly can't get the dead people to testify. This has to be a wild goose chase from the very beginning. Touché, Miss Guy. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For the better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible! Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I got to think of back to the court record. The real murderer name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Guy. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek: the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message of the deceased. Found in the Chief Gant's safe, evidence for something. But what? Bears Emma Sky's name. Take that! This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now then, This is a message from the judge. Huh? I guess that wasn't right. If a dead person left behind a message, it would have been in written form. That's the only logical conclusion. Yep. Okay, let's try this again. In written form. In written form? Years ago. Let's try and take a look. In written form. The evidence list?
Take that!
This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now then. Oh, come on! It will have to be in written form. Written form? Where? Where would it be? The written form. The written form. SL9 incident? Alright. Oh, come the fuck on! What is it? What's... Evidence list? What the hell? You've got to be kidding me. This is the message for the deceased? No! Written form? What is it? Huh? This one? The dark red stains must be blood traces from the incident 2 years ago. Only the fragment found in Chief Gant's office still has lines remaining on it. This? This is the message left by the deceased. Is that the blue badger from before? Oh, it's just going to be some... Is he going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. The message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped away the blood. Yes, but notice, but for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there is a line here, drawn in blood. What you're saying is that these dots were once lines? Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the last precious moment left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed direction? Precisely so. All we need to do is connect the points, and the victim message will become apparent. No! Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, these blood stains will reveal the answer to us. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. This is without an A, right? Yamma. Undo. Okay. Hip. Hip. Hup. 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 Huh? What?
Take that!
Who's that? Who's that? It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That is why I've been thinking all. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Ma. This is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind? Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. What does she have there at the back of her hand? Seaworthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gang, do you understand the implication of what you have done? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, your dog was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the one prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because you, an innocent man, was sentenced to death. Not only that, you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dog was really a serial murderer. That's undeniable. Oh. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We are defenders of justice. Then what the hell are you? What the hell are you then? What? We're merely keepers of law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. If there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on in the prosecutor's office? How can he just stand there like it was his fault? It wasn't his fault. Order, order, order! The gavel pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Not over yet. February 25, 1206. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. Sorry, Edward. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, Guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while I'm on duty. And on top of it, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you this. This is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give you this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edward was talking about this just the other day. You must know 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? He said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him? I guess I need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law security slip into pocket. What does it say? Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Unregistered evidence? We're definitely gonna use rule number 2 to take them down. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What is there left to do? Your credibility has been ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25th, 12:52, District Courtroom, number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edward? Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your action. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edward, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witness? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? There's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witness. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edward has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution proposal. Well, then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, the trial is as good as over. The defense calls... Now it's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant! Damon Gant! The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gan to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Wordy, are you sure you want to do this? Name and occupation. So, you want me to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered a prosecutor? Personally, I think it's made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Good. Either you're very brave or very foolish. Foolishly brave! If you're aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it to you if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Huh? Huh? Of course, such an action carries a certain risk. Carries with it a certain risk. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, you'll see I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. The SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged a crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I better give him hard and fast. SL9 incident. As I recall, questioning him that day. As I recall, the ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Sky also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped out. The power outage didn't help either. So, the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, I went downstairs. I guess you could say, he got lucky. Wait! If the power is out, what's the point of going to the elevator? What's this about power outage? Oh, that? The elevator stopped all of a sudden. So, and I got a shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went into his heart though. That's not fun. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she had already arranged a crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it may have already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at the office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you're better off staring at the court record. Wordy, always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gann to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the full proof. Somehow I got to link Gann to the incident. Well, it's probably this evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of police department. 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case. Wait. Heads up! Shit. I'm sorry. Evidences. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery, but I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list for example. That's the list Emma Sky drew her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but the piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. It was found where? You see, Chief Gann, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gann? What's the meaning of this? Oh. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Wordy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who? Me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who stuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right? Right. However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Thank you. I was about to say that. Wordy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us a testimony regarding these pictures you found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put 2 and 2 together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have implanted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those 2 pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Darsh was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe the protocol. You do understand that I am the police chief, right? There will be consequences. Oof. Indeed. I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting that until tomorrow for that? Would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Edgy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? Evidence and forgery. You could have planted it in my office. I appreciate if you stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped. So, right? What are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rido's prints were found. Yes, if they are found inside my safe, they will prove his investigation was illegal. I'll never face anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, right now. It all depends when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they are worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right? The chief is talking about a possibility, so as long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on, come now, Rhino. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure if I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Cat? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you reap from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police? Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without the case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might end up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you do it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There it's out in the open now. Haji, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I truly care is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I feel sorry for her, you better think again. Alright, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lacking up on yourself though. That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, wouldn't he have helped someone out? Point out an accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but it will benefit you if you decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well. Who is this person you believe Chief Gan may have helped forge the evidence? Lana Sky.
Take that!
Take that! Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky? The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in the light of circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And so, for Chief Gan, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After SL Line incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gan. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he played with puppets? Why am I surrounded by idiots? Oh wait, you must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind then. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I control Lana? For example, is Lana testifying I've done such a thing? Lana is keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she testified against Gan. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gan is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order, order, order. I said order! Big Fry. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious? Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. to accuse the chief of police officer, or chief of police, of blackmail and murder? That is impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Well then, let's see what Mr. Wright got, and it better be good. Show us the evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. ID card record. Take that! This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID card on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7 sevens. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe to Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. Huh? This is the 5th chapter. Final chapter. 7 digits. You don't mean... Okay. I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7 sevens. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order? Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright to be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Seriously now. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant? So you admit it? No, this is chapter 5. Chapter 4 was the samurai? Oh no, chapter 4 is Edgeworth, okay, when he was being accused of being the murderer. This is the 5th one. It's like the DLC for the Western version. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm the chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I haven't seen him in days. He's dead, you idiot!
Objection!
You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you have undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
Objection!
No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? Well, in a sense, that Edgeworth have a, have his stake in this, because remember, we found Bruce Goodman's body in his car trunk, being murdered with his own knife. Okay, let me just I can't bring it up now. See, the murder weapon. Usually in Edgeworth's toolbox. Traces of victim's blood, no prints. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gann on the day of the crime. This, the evidence locker!
Take that!
There's got to be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman had to go see. Sorry to interrupt your mumblings, but the court is waiting. Huh? Why don't you come meet with me tomorrow? Perhaps we would write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. Okay, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof. Show us proof. The switchblade knife.
Take that!
Ah, come on! What else? Let me think. ID card is not, I think. Screwdriver? Maybe we can see the screwdriver, but then that's like... Screwdriver?
Take that!
Oh, come on. Okay, I need to load because I'm running low on tries. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gann on the day of crime. What about this? Goodman lost item report.
Take that!
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filed out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes. To transfer the evidence out. Oh! Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gann. Damn! You accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. They could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you really had lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Chief Gann, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, You're the chief of police? You have an entire police force at your disposal. So, the thing I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this dead body over here to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gan, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue that's just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the body, Chief Gan used this. The screwdriver. Evidence from a past case of Edward brought back to the office by Gan's report. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edward? Think back to the day of the crime. What's the screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Oh! I was asked to go by Chief Gan, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, but you did, because Chief Gan asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by the car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? I think that's pretty logical. Yes, of course. You have another explanation, Chief? Why else would you have asked Mr. Edwards to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Sky. Order? What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttals to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's the photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gan, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Ryder, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Bertie. I stab old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you have any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gann is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have concrete proof? Prove that Chief Gann murdered Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? Present evidence! I can't let him squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. And just remember, we're about to die if I don't guess correctly. It better prove Chief Gann murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Let me see. Found the chief safe. Evidence for but bears in my sky. Let me see. Taken by Angel Star after the crime was committed. Switchblade knife. So what exactly is this evidence? It's proof. As to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge, but I am the judge. Alright, what do you think, Your Honor? I'm going to be late for lunch. Damn it, that's not it. Without a shadow of a doubt. How did he... Indicator lamp light? Without a shadow of a doubt, there's still a doubt about the rubber glove. The blue... This one! So, what exactly is this evidence? Oh, it's not it. Without a shadow of a doubt. What about the blue badger?
Take that!
It's not it. That's not it. Oh, damn it. It's not this. Evidence law? I don't think so. Going to be late for lunch. I guess it wasn't enough. No proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Yaji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegation against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you cannot afford to lose, Ryder. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji, I leave the rest to you. Wait, is it the end? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gam has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edward, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witness today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls for Lana Sky. Defendant, Miss Lana Sky? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 PM on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance to a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objection, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. Hold on. Oh? Chief Cat? I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be there will be terrible consequences. This is witness intimidation. Even if that he's not safe from the law, okay? That's right. Or if he does, it's a joke. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Yeah, okay. If there aren't any further objections. That's fucking witness tampering in front of your eyes, Judge! This court is now in recess. February 25th, 2004. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office? Office? Sure. I'll take that place of that top Nordic girl you used to work with. Could we mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of move now. Chief Gan's done it again. How is it always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Like what? Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the Chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds the truth. Also holds true. You mean he forfeit his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on? Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since the appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier, and it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gan's order. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cool. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gan may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. Well, you fooled your memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, you better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why did you wait? No, I'm going with you. Why are you going to stand in the defense? You do know that you're well, you're not innocent, easy to say. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. To be continued. Okay, the last part. Why is she allowed to be here? Now then, will the defendant Miss Lana Sky please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you're the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what you're required to do. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You all know what I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Guy. And remember, you're under oath and we want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gan. Everything hinges on your testimony. You are the only chance we have to get to Gan. Gan and the fabrication. I worked alongside Gan for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. He had nothing to do with Emma. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gan has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. This is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gan for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years? Detective Gan and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. It must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gan was a respectable detective, that's why there's no truth to this blackmail theory.
Hold it!
But think about it, Miss Guy. You didn't murder Detective Damon. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Wow. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to describe the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But the Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That only situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I never changed this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that's so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor, a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's how he went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's move, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You or all people would know, You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you plant the knife? Even you should be able to figure it out. Very well, let's add this to witness testimony. The reason why Miss Sky fabricated the knife. Wait, this one let's ask again. Let's ask why she moved the body. When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain it in more detail. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my client. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, the wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dart committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. When you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dart convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking at the murderer? How many times do I need to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to sacrifice the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed no matter what. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister is lying. Looks like she's determined to protect it to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it. Gotta get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to make a slip up and make a contradiction. Wait, shattered jar? Let's look at the jar again. When you look at the crime scene, it will be clear to you right away what happened. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. I have a feeling there is more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. The thing is that... Well... The thing is... I want you to look at this. How can... If it's broken... Okay, let's check. If... I can't see it. Well, the point is... If it's broken... How can all of this put together? Like...
Objection!
Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life would have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring it to everyone's attention. A significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction? In my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of jar that shattered during the event threatened my clan." And that's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's simple oversight, really. You see, a message written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moment. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. You may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor? It seems you're in the dark as we are about the truth towards where we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may continue her testimony. Jar and the blood. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. I could think about what all I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't Chief Prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Jar and message in blood. I immediately noticed the blood trace on the jar. So the jar was already broken? It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looked as feeble as the defense case, but not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe that you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana would do that for me. It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Professor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in this situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but to gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I sure I've gotten them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in the office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After all, we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradiction in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Wait, there's one thing. Wipe away the blood. This one, I think I need to... Wait. Wait, you see, I got them all, but that's one, which is in the...
Objection!
Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of the jar in this Chief Gan safe. In the Chief safe? But how? I knew it, she really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about the final piece. There was still blood stain on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with one explanation. On the night of the prosecutor marshal was murdered, you were not the first one to show up at the scene. Chief Gan got there before you. But couldn't the defendants have simply missed a piece?
Objection!
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an eighth detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I wasted an entire day looking for them. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. So there's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying the person was Chief Gan at the time he was looking for the jar downstairs. The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Him and Gan arrived at the scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hit one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. I think it's more to like evidence tampering. But why would Chief Gan do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana believed her sister killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gan's aid. Lending her aid, Gan helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Sky became the chief puppet. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorney make up the most foul lies to defend their client. Really? Really now? Really now? Really? Really? Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gan's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Sky, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there's a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more, for the final time. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's body. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on this armored sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Really? This picture? You gave it to me this morning? Evidence law? I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Then she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to have remembered getting something over there. Let's check the evidence again. This? Evidence law. Theo. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh my! This is the actual crime scene! No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted criminal affairs only after I arranged everything. Lana picture inserted into court record. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest, could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? What's this? What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosoever fingerprints those are, must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma! Why are your lips turning purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled. What the? Come now, Ajay. This is the poorest excuse of trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What now? You want to make me out as a bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be the risk we were talking about. Just sit back and relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Well, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's the excuse, Ryder? Why have you been keeping quiet? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show the piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as a murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the board of inquiry. Now, I better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present a piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Show. I do have further evidence. Alright, the time finally comes to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the chiefs. Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Take that!
It's a piece of leather cloth? Yes. It most likely was cut from the victim's vest near the chest. What's this? There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the court. What? Whose fingerprints are on this? I'm sure Rido has checked. Haven't you? Well, whose are they? Yeah, Skies. Miss Emma Skies. What? They're mine? So I really did do it. See? I told you it was conclusive. But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. You shouldn't have presented that. But by presenting that evidence, you tied Miss Emma Sky to Niels Marshall's death. No. It appears we have our killer. No! No! Everything hinged on that point. Guilty. Huh? What? Oh shit, I have to do it all over again. Oh shit, I have to do it all over again. Oh god. Oh god, Okay. This one. Okay, we have to do it all over again. Let's go and check out. We press everything. Oh, this is how many years we don't need. Come on. All this by yourself. Let's press. Ah, I should have saved. Broke the trick. Why did you move the body? Piece of jar that's static. What do you mean piece of jar? This one we need to show the jar, right? So we need to show the jar. Is that jar?
Objection!
Okay, skip. Oh god. Oh, come on. Okay, let's press jar and message in blood. Okay. Jar and message in blood. I didn't check in the room was dark. Wait. This one here. The jar again. Nope. Jar.
Objection!
Jar. There was still blood on it. I wonder what she's hiding at the back there.
Objection! Objection!
Come on!
Objection!
Okay, come on! I screwed up. You proceeded to break the jar. Oh. Actual crime scene. Okay, now. Okay, skip a little bit more. Okay, this one is at the back of the book. Check. Theo. Come on. And after this, actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Washington on sword. Ah, here he is. Okay, there he is. Okay, there. Okay, let's save it one more time. This one is closer. I can't show. Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie. Chief Gant. You opened my safe. You know what you took what I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Wright. Why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice something odd about the chest area. It looks like part of it has been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the Chief of Police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Rido. Well, I can't just let you spin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? Wait, if you notice, he's wearing gloves. So, how can we prove that? It occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her? I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay on with her sister, then when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Guy. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant a knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean the items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging evidence? What do you take me for? A fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana would go and wipe the blood of all the other pieces.
Objection!
But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Ho ho ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Rido. Pop it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Cat. You were hiding the cloth you cut off from the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Rido. You should have shown it then, before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up, the victory is mine. Show evidence. I do have evidence to show. Alright, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Gotta show.
Take that!
Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's vest. Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. For honor, the prosecution requests that immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. The handprint on the leather, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho! So you're slow on the uptake as ever, Woody. What? Think about it. Rido had all this time to present this evidence, yet he was reluctant to do so. What could that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything proceeding as predicted. The person whose fingerprints belong to is... Emma. Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma, but why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh, you're really something, Ryder. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me? Oh, it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Hold it! How could you? You monster! Miss Sky, you know whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Sky, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, my boy. What's the matter? Cat got the tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? What? Chief Gan, you're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Well, the point is that he said that he cut it up, but then there's no his fingerprint. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gan, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. The rubber glove? Wait, Lana's picture? This picture? Lana's picture? And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is a picture of Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the pieces of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait, there's no blood on it. Since Emma Sky fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at the time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gan, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He was most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky? Picked up the unconscious prosecutor, impaled him on the armor sword. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they broke on purpose to leave a clue. Then make Lana believe her sister breathed it. Remember what you admitted to only a few moments ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? So, the very act of creating insurance, you prove you were the actual murderer. Okay. It's finally over. Objection! Let's go, Ranger, and you almost had it. Sorry, but you have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean, refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth, it's illegal evidence. Order? What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Ranger. Remember, right over here, you'll see that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse right now? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? This is when he was still confident. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. That doesn't moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Do you really think you can best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that evidence is indeed legal. Huh? Well, Mr. Wright? Seems at last. The time for me to review my plan has finally arrived. You've activated my trap card. Do you admit to it? Do you purposely and illegally conceal this piece of cloth? No, right? I did not. I admit, I refused to present it at one point. Ah, so the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved in presenting evidence. No one did. Don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. He can't really believe. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then so do it now. Evidence law from Miss Guy explains the 2 rules of evidence law. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. This? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Miss Guy's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of a police department. I found this piece of evidence myself. It's inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at that time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the April 9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was the picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. She's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. That person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of victim's bed. Oh yes. No. It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the Chief of Police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who could that be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. And he's gone flat. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years he's been snooping around my department, trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hunting me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Star, convinced Prince Goodman, Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then, all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker as he was taking the evidence out. He said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all of this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up the SL9. That's when I saw it, the accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would only lead to more blood, making it impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in it, so I hurried to wipe it out. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth comes out. So you took the evidence from the Detective Goodman's locker. I feel bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their job so well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Wordy, why did you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Ajay? What? Looks like we have to cancel on that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Ajay. Thanks for all the memories though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Ryder here, and Wordy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sound of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, them again betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. Right. when this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gan help me forge evidence, up until today. So, it seems all these questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all the trouble. My, what a high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, in a few years from now, you just make it to the top. Aww. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky, and to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it has been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although Chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as an accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Well, this trial has gone far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Lana Sky, not guilty! What is she doing all this while? That is all. The court is adjourned. February 25th, 5:03 PM. Defendant Lobby 2. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long case? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. That's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupted again, any pals? Oh. Yes, I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it? You're doing this on purpose, are you? Making a detective run all around while on the game. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, you're here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. I asked Gan to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realized I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have? Oh, Emma. Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move forward to a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt watching those two sisters make up. Mr. Wright? Mr. Gumshoe? Me? Thank you both for all you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right? Edgeworth. Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize that I can't correct my mistake. Mr. Edgeworth? Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals. Can feel it. You and me were the same. One day, you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. With just one man, you'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that truth for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something at Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it comes to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. And that may be true. But think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What's this? Papa quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth and I would have been. Yeah, now we find out on our own. Attorney's badge! Take that! That might mean something to you, but I don't see how it had anything to do with our friendship. Huh? Mr. Wright? It seems you still have a lot to learn as well. Aww. I guess that wasn't the right piece of evidence. It's time for me to go. Edgeworth, if you excuse me, there's still some loose ends that needs wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. How can she be Chief Prosecutor after all of this? Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, Whatever you do, just remember, you can't let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can't let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going too. Okay, I'll be back to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Huh? Oh, maybe when she was young. Thanks, sis. I will. Aww. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And so, as for me, I think it's time I started on my own new journey on my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Well, maybe okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see... Mr. Wright, here's the one... Mr. Wright here's the one who we put in the bill. Huh? Huh? What did... Huh? You think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Objection!
Okay. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I managed to find my way back to the field somehow. I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. You know, this episode is quite long. Yikes. I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show, you can't just shake me off that easily. Just like a gum on a shoe. Okay, what happened to him? My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Somehow, I'm going to make it a detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like a Dick Gumshoe. I don't think that's a good idea. You're gonna be making less than what you are now. I knew it, they're gonna show it. Knew it. He kind of grows up. Ah. Blue Badger reminds me a lot of Parappa the Rapper. Huh? What is it? Can't you see I'm having a showdown with my big lunch partner? Mr. managed to sneak this into me. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer as sweet as victory. Kid seems to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam season. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. Localization, Benja. Dun, 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 dun. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for... Well, anyways, I got another trial to get to, so I better be... Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. I think I'll start playing Tactics Older next. Huh? Nothing serves the soul like a fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya? Afternoon training is about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. And let me guess, last one is Mia. Or Larry. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Kentaro Ohira. Ryohei Koyama. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Bellboy. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on? Let me guess, he resigned and became a defense attorney. I kinda got a feeling that we're gonna be on the end. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Theo. Shit. Now that hits right in the feels. Funny how Capcom is known for fighting games, and they make this gem. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, so that's the end of. Huh? Hear about memories? So that's all for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So I do feel like I want to play like how should I say this? I I'll play this game whenever I feel like it, but because like it's so long, it's so a lot of things to think about, and I'm not really. I won't say I'm not really that good at it. Okay, so maybe like whenever I have like maybe like a long break, maybe we'll play this. Okay, but for now, I wanna play something. Okay, a gameplay heavy. So basically maybe like Tactics Ogre, and then I'm also playing Miasma Chronicle. But after Miasma Chronicle finish, I'm just gonna focus on one stream a day, okay? Having 2 streams a day is really tiring me off, okay? So I don't know how it goes. So until then, I'll end the stream here, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Tomorrow I'll be playing Labyrinth of Galleria, so okay? You can come and join and watch that, okay? So that's all for now. Bye bye.